What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily Rewind, as we go back a week, give you the past 7 days of tech news videos in one single video. And there's a new foldable phone coming out that is trumping and destroying, like just look spec to spec against, it's killing it, and physically too, I should say, versus the Pixel Fold and Z Fold 5. This thing's a beast, and it's coming out this year. We also talk about the Z Fold 5, we talk about the Pixel Fold, we talk about everything. Enjoy this week, we'll see you in the next one. First story of the day is there's a deal going on right now. Samsung's having a pretty big spring sale, as you would call it. You can get Galaxy S23 Ultra and Plus and regular phone deals. They have deals on their computer monitors and on TVs and washing machines, appliances, all kinds of stuff. If you want to support the show, click on the link, buy something. If you're thinking about getting some nice deals going on, save up to $800 on the S23 Ultra and so much more. So it's linked down below if you want to take advantage of it. And again, if you shop through that link that I have in the description of the video, it'll help support what I do. The next story is really about the Galaxy Z Fold 5 and the trade-in offers that I expect or kind of like think that they're going to do. In the past, Samsung's been very generous with trade-in offers, and on their on their folding phones, they were really generous. I think we got like up to $900 or $1,000 or something on the Z Fold 4 launch. And then what happened is you go to like the S23 launch, and some of the best deals you could get, especially if you were trading in like an S22 Ultra for an S23 Ultra, was like, I don't know, I think $500 or $550. It wasn't the usual like $700, $800, $900 that you would usually get when you would upgrade from the previous generation of the phone to the newer generation of that phone. Now, to be fair, they were given, I think, like $750 for the folding phones. If you were trading like a Fold 4 for an S23 Ultra, they were doing that. But with the Z Fold 5, we're like in this little issue of, are we going to see trade-in offers that are representative of what we saw with the S23 launch, or are we going to see it more representative of the Z Fold 4 and 3 and 2 launches when they were giving really good ones? And I think it's going to be a little mixture of both, if I had to guess. And I say that because I still think they're going to give pretty bad trade-in offers for something like an S23 Ultra. Like S23 Ultra just came out, for instance, and you would expect maybe to get like $900 by the time the phone comes out. But realistically, it's probably going to be at the most, my guess would probably be about $700. I wouldn't even be surprised if they're back down at like $650 or $600 for that, but I really think it'll end up being about $700, $750. I think with the folding phones, if you're coming from like a Fold 4 to the Fold 5, I don't think it's going to be $1,000. I don't think it's going to be $900. I think the best we'll see on that is $800 on there, which I have to admit, if that feels a lot better than getting, you know, $500 or so with an S22 Ultra to go to the S23 Ultra. I was super disappointed when that happened. And you also have to take into consideration that with the Pixel Fold launch, Google's offering some really, really good trade-ins across the board, except for their own phones. Pixel phones don't have a lot of trade-in value for another Pixel phone, but if you're coming from an iPhone or another Samsung phone, a folding phone from Samsung, they're giving really, really good trade-in offers to make you want to jump over to that new platform that Google has with that Google Pixel Fold. And you have to expect, to go back to Samsung, that they're probably going to do something similar. Maybe that's why I say I think there's going to be a little mixture of like, not the greatest trade-in offers, but better than the S23 launch, but not like blow you away and like make you feel like, damn, I'm gonna do it. I hope they prove me wrong and they're like, hey, we saw what happened with the S23 launch. People weren't that happy. There was a lot of bad feedback from that. Let's make it right with our customers and make them want to keep upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. For the people that do it directly through Samsung, obviously, that's kind of what I'm talking about. You could, of course, you can go through your carrier and still get $800 or $1,000 sometimes with the carriers, depending upon whatever phone it is. But you know, this is more for the people that are trading directly into Samsung and the offers that they give. So I think it's going to be a little bit mixture of good, a little mixture of bad. And a few questions, so let's dive right in. Our story of the day has to do with the Galaxy Z Flip 5 and Galaxy Z Fold 5 and the announcement date and most likely the release date as well. Some new information is leaking out and it's pretty big news, and it is coming out. The launch is early and the release date will be early as well. So here's the information that is coming out. And they are saying that July 26th will be the announcement of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 and Galaxy Z Fold 5. Now that is a Wednesday, and that goes along with what Samsung generally does. Usually, 2 weeks later, so 2 Fridays out, so you count not the first Friday, but basically count 3 Fridays out. August 11th should be the release date. And remember, the Z Flip 5 will have a 6.7 inch Full HD plus 120 hertz main display, 3.4 inch outer display, have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, 12 megapixel cameras across the board, a slightly bigger battery, 25 watt charging, wireless charging, Android 13, and the Z Fold 5 will have that 6.2 inner and 6.2 outer, I should say, 7.6 outer, inner. I'm all over the place. And remember that Z Flip 5 should have a 6.2 outer inch display, 7.6 inch inner display, which in 120 hertz, and it'll look the same size as it has the last few years. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, 50 megapixel OIS, 12 megapixel, 10 megapixel cameras. Gorilla Glass Victus 2, IPX8 water resistance, wireless charging, 25 watt wired charging, Android 13 improved under display camera. And it looks like that's going to be the announcement and release date for the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 and Fold 5. So it's nice to see that they're going to be releasing it about 2 weeks earlier than they normally do, time frame wise. I don't know if it's going to make a huge dent in already pre-existing products at that point, or people that are thinking about buying products already. Like, is the 2 weeks going to make that big a difference? I guess they're doing it because they want to create some separation between their FE/Fan Edition products that will be coming out shortly after that. First story of the day has to do with the Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra and a 360 look at this beautiful tablet. Now, you won't notice a lot of differences in terms of the way it looks versus a Tab S8 Ultra. It's going to still have that huge, massive 14.6 inch display. Some differences with it though, if you get it, and not even a difference, but a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, which is a difference, should provide you with better performance, better battery life. Everything else is very relatively the same. Still get S Pen with S Pen support. You'll still get, I think it's 45 watt charging. Cameras will be similar. It's really just the chipset that's different on there, which if you're a gamer or someone that loves the most in terms of power they can get, you probably would want to upgrade to it. Otherwise, in terms of looks and features and fit and feel, it's going to be very similar to the Tab S8 Ultra if you already have that one. Next up is about the Galaxy S23. As we've spoken in the past, at least recently, there's going to be a big update to the cameras that comes in June, but there's another update rolling out right now, at least in China, that's adding a brand new feature. And Ice Universe goes on to say that the China S23 series updates, WD3, adds the function of transferring video calls to your tablet. In addition, no change. The real big update will wait until June, as I said before. Now, he doesn't really go into detail in terms of transferring video calls, if that has to do with Google Duo or some other app within there. But kind of cool to be able to transfer a video call from one device to another. I personally don't know of a service off the top of my head that does that. So if it is Google Duo or something else, I'm totally down with that. So that's a pretty cool thing. And then again, that big giant camera update, which we'll have to wait and see if it happens later on in June, in terms of what it's going to fix, what it's going to improve, what it's going to actually do, remains to be seen. Your story of the day has to do with the Google Pixel 8 Pro and a brand new feature. I don't know if this is on any other phone actually, and it's probably going to be a quote unquote marketing wise, a big selling feature, again, marketing wise for them, for the Google Pixel 8 Pro. It will not be on the regular Pixel 8, so keep that in mind. And what am I talking about? Well, here it is. The information that's being leaked out is Pixel 8 Pro hands-on images. I'm not going to show the hands-on images because I think they're copyright striking, so I'm just going to, if you want to look for them, just Google it and you'll find them very easily. Will feature a thermometer sensor. That is the big new feature, thermometer sensor. Pixel 8 Pro is he put more curved compared to 7 Pro. What he meant, it's not curved, it's actually a flat display. What he means by that is that it's more rounded around the corners. That's what he meant. 6.7 inch, 120 hertz AMOLED display, same size as the Pixel 7 Pro. Tensor G3 processor, which is going to be supposed to be much more powerful than the G2 processor, which is going to be a nice little get. Main ultra wide and periscope camera, so we'll have that triple camera setup on the Pixel 8 Pro. Android 14, metal frame, glass back, stereo speakers, in-display fingerprint sensor, and that's kind of what we're looking at. So here's the Pixel phone. This is the Pixel 7 Pro. On the Pixel 8 Pro, this light is going to be above, and then below will be the thermometer, so you can capture a temperature. So you can capture the temperature of yourself. So what you do is, like, there's an app, you tap thermometer, and then you put it like this to your head, and it captures your temperature. But you can also do it against your wrist. You can also get the temperature of other things as well. Maybe you want to know how hot whatever is, I don't know, the surface of the cement or table or whatever. So you would just tap that and then get kind of close with your phone with the sensor, and then it would measure it for you. I feel like this is a cool idea if this happened 2 years ago, the thermometer sensor, when COVID was at the height of its peak in strength. Now I feel like it's kind of I don't know, I feel like we don't need it. Maybe we do. I feel like other things would be much more important, like different sensors. And you're gonna say, what sensors? I don't know, blood sugar or like heart. I mean, some phones had like heartbeat. Samsung's had heartbeat sensors and stuff like that. I don't know, something like that would be more adequate. I don't know. I feel like a temperature sensor is like, how many times am I actually gonna use that feature on the back of the phone? Is it a huge selling feature? I personally can't see it being hugely popular and needed in phones. Story of the day, and only story of the day, is about the foldable. Like, physically, this is the foldable phone that I would want. And I know this is very similar to the Vivo X Fold, but I think this is going to be better because this is looking like a bad phone, and it is coming, it looks like it should be anyway, to America, and it's going to give the Pixel Fold and the Galaxy Z Fold a run for its money. So this is the information so far that we know. So it looks like the OnePlus Fold and the Oppo Find N3 are going to look the same and have the same specs. They are basically huge, amazing looking phones. So you can see what they look like so far. You can see you get a big display when you open it up and a big display when you're holding it. But just how big are we talking about? So OnePlus Fold will have an 8-inch QHD OLED main display running at 120 hertz. The outside display, when it's closed, will be 6.5-inch Full HD AMOLED 120 hertz display. It'll have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, up to 16 gigs of RAM, up to 512 gigs of storage. Cameras across the board will be 50, 48, and 32. 32 megapixel selfie, inner and outer. 4,800 milliamp battery, 80 watt charging. This is crazy. This is, you know, if I could make my perfect looking foldable phone, this might be it. I want a huge display on the outside, on the inside. I want a super powerful processor. Now, beyond that, you know, and super fast charging, 80 watt charging, and charge this thing super fast. Things that would make me a little bit concerned is battery life going to be all that good? It does have the 8 Gen 2 in it, which would make it sip the battery life, but is it going to be absolutely dominating the battery life? The other thing I'd worry about is the cameras. You know, I want really, really good cameras. Is this going to have it? I feel like that's going to be one of the weaker points. It's probably not going to have any water resistance. If I had to guess, that might be, it's not a deal breaker, but it is something to be slightly concerned with. Does it have wireless charging? Again, not a huge deal to me, but does it have it? Those are some things that I think ultimately right off the top of these specs that I see that would make me a little concerned, and maybe not make it the absolute perfect folding phone, but the big displays is a huge selling point, and the great processor inside. Keeping my eye on this one. This might be an absolute beast. All about the Galaxy S23. Now, we've spoken a couple of times about the big camera update that's supposed to be coming out in June, but it's kind of been sparse on details. Well, it looks like we have a newer detail. I don't know, and I'm hoping this isn't the only thing that it brings. But here we go with the information about the cameras on the S23 Ultra phone. So here it is. This tweet is coming from Ice Universe, who is going on to say that in June, the S23's new feature, new firmware optimized the performance of the camera of the third-party software calling system, and the camera will be clearer. Now, that's kind of sparse on details. One of the things it sounds like is that when you use the camera in third-party apps, such as, Instagram or Twitter, probably not Twitter. How many people are using the Twitter camera app? Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, apps like that, that the photos should be better quality. But then it also sounds like, in general, the photos will be clearer, sharper. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like he's announcing two things, that it's gonna work better in third-party apps, and then it's also gonna be clear. Or maybe it's just gonna be clearer in third-party apps. I mean, I wish when he tweeted something, he added a little bit more context and detail to everything, so it wasn't just like a, huh? But I guess it creates more engagement, right? If you don't answer the questions that people want to know. So that's what it's looking like so far. Obviously, there'll probably be more things in there later on this June when that update's released. But let's talk about the Galaxy Z Fold 5, because we've talked about it not being an exciting upgrade, but what would make it an exciting upgrade? What would make people probably definitely upgrade no matter which Galaxy phone they had, have it be the 1, 2, 3, or 4? Like, what would be those things that would really, really make people want to upgrade? So I wanted to talk about those things, and I made a list here. The first one is one that we're gonna get anyway, and it's better performance. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is better than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or 8 Plus Gen 1. It's better than that, and it's better in two ways. It's better in performance, which we already get really great performance, let's be honest, but it's gonna improve the overall quality of like the way the animations run and the smoothness of the OS and gaming and everything else. But then it also gives you potentially better battery life, like it did with the S23 Ultra over its successor against the 8 Gen 1. So that would be like right off the bat, one of the major things you'd want when you upgrade. The next would be a bigger outside display. It's been a pain point for Samsung for a while here, has been this outside display, and they really need to get that upgraded, and to make this much wider is really what we want. It's not, the height's okay, it's really to make it wider. That's what we want. We want it to be like more of a traditional sized phone, and something bigger and wider there would definitely be a good point, because you can consume and type easier, you consume your media better, it'd just be a better overall experience. Another thing that would make me want, and I know some of you guys as well, would be a bigger inside display. To have like a much bigger, wider inside display, or maybe not so much wider, but just bigger overall. It's not something that's desperately needed, but it would be like, oh cool, that's bigger now, let's get that now. I think that would be a really cool thing, to have that bigger inside display as well. Outside and inside bigger displays. Improved under display camera. I hate the camera on the front display. On the inside display, I should say. It's awful. It's really, really bad. I would love to see that improved. So if they could, and it's supposed to be improved this year, rumors are saying, but how much is it going to be improved? And if they can improve it to the point where it's as good as the cameras that are on the back or on this side, then put the camera on top again. It doesn't bother me at all. It looks cooler when you can't see it, but it doesn't look so bad when there's a punch hole like on the front there. So I would love to see that improved or changed back to how the camera initially was. The next one is just better cameras overall. These cameras aren't horrendous, they're just not always reliable. I want reliable cameras on the back, on the front, and the inside, everywhere. I want that great camera experience for videos and photos, and I want it to be very, very good. So that would be another thing, give it the same cameras as the S23 Ultra. Like, to go to that next step. Let's make this feel like a premium device, especially at the price that we're paying, which is basically $2,000 or so after taxes. Bigger battery would be amazing. They're still at like 4,400 milliamps. Get this thing up to 5,000. I don't mind if it weighs a little bit more. I'm fine with that. So I would love to see a bigger battery in here to get better battery performance and longevity with that battery as well. Faster charging. We're still stuck on 25 watt charging. Let's get this to the next step. Let's go not 45 watt, let's go 65 watt or 80 or 90 watt. I want to charge this thing in like less than 30 minutes, 0 to 100, or charge it in 15 minutes, whatever. I just want it to be much faster on that, especially with wireless as well. That'd be great to get that up to 50 watt to match like a Vivo on there. That's pretty much it. I'd be happy and want to definitely upgrade at that point. I mean, I will upgrade because this is my livelihood, it's something I'm interested in. But if I was a regular consumer, I wouldn't upgrade unless some of these or half of these or most of these things had come into play that I listed out. What did I miss? What's something that would make you want to upgrade to the folding phone? I know someone might say price, but I'm talking about spec wise or feature wise. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you down the road. Peace.